channel. Okay, so as you can see, there's a nice clear background here. All right, so my phone was on 6% when I left the theater. For proof, you could still see, you can see the wet stains on the cup. This was one of the cups we had, and I literally just got back home from the theater. And back in the day, I used to do my live movie reviews of, well, not reviews, reaction to share if for those who haven't seen it. No spoilers, by the way, okay? If you haven't seen it yet, I'm not going to share any spoilers, so don't worry. I'll leave that to the pros and the professionals and the actual critics out here, okay? So, like, I used to do my reactions on Periscope. But this time I said, you know what? I'm not going to put it on TikTok because I really am not on TikTok like that yet. I have an account, but I don't use it. Said, no, Instagram, nah. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go on my YouTube channel and talk about it. So I'm still processing everything, you all. Without giving spoilers, there is, I can't obviously give you all spoilers. It's going to be a little bit hard. But there was a couple scenes in the film that I think changed a lot for me. So here's what I want to say for those that haven't seen it. You're excited to hear people's reaction. Okay, so here's what I'll say. This movie was totally not what I was expecting, in a good way, okay? Not in a bad way. This film, okay, so I literally just got back like 10 minutes ago, so there's a couple scenes that stand out to me, but without giving away spoilers, how am I going to describe this? So, like, because for those who have seen it, like, there is key scenes in the movie that you're just like, what? Like, huh? Like, is this real life? So here's what I want to say. And this, I've never described a film like this in my life. So for those that haven't seen it, you're probably going to be like, what? That sounds kind of weird, but just bear with me, okay? So the way I would describe me watching the film, a lot of it felt like I was watching someone's real life. Okay? It definitely felt like I was almost watching like a documentary, like real life, okay, to put it like that. It really did not feel like any movie I've seen in the past 5 years, which is saying a lot. There's no other film I can compare it to. I would not compare. I get my drink, child. My movie theater drink I got, it was a icy. I got a combination of Coke, cherry, and blueberry. I went ham in this drink. 3 hours, by the way. Yes, it was a long film. So, got from the theater. So, yeah, I would not compare it to the Suicide Squad film with I would not compare it to Jared Leto's thing. I would not compare it to Dark Knight. I would not compare it to Ben Affleck. I would not compare this film to any of that. This was completely different, okay? Before I went to the theater and saw it tonight, I saw a lot of other people talking about the film and what they like, people that are more professional, that they upload reactions for a living. So I thought to myself, maybe the reactions are a little bit overhyped, a little bit extra. And the key word that I kept hearing from those kind of videos was masterpiece. I heard the word masterpiece a lot. So how do I feel about that whole buzzword in relation to this film now that I've seen it? I don't know how to feel. I think that it is. This is a hard one, you all. I don't know how to really describe it because, if we're talking in terms of actors and actresses, right? As I was watching the film, I felt that everybody that was cast looked the part. You know what I'm saying? at the very beginning, I caught myself laughing a lot, not laughing but chuckling, because back, I hate to say back in the day, but now it's like back in the day, Twilight, okay? I cannot do a reaction right out of the movie theater and just got home from the movie theater. I cannot do this video without talking about Twilight. That like it like I'm sorry, it's very cliche, but it's Robert Pattinson. It's Robert Pattinson. And for me as a Twilight, I read all the books with all my friends in high school. I went to every single movie. You know what I'm saying? It was Team Edward, Team Bella, Team Jacob. Like that was like the era. So keep in mind that I saw every Twilight film. And he was Edward Cullen. He was Edward Cullen in that film. So I've seen other movies he's been in, but that was one of the main blockbusters, that he was in constant high grossing Twilight films. So I'm gonna be honest, when I went into this film, I was like, how am I gonna feel seeing him with this, husky, almost like sensual Batman voice? And I know he's British, but the accent has to be American because Batman has an American accent. It's very distinguished, it's very low, it's very sensual in a way. And on top of that, how am I going to feel seeing this actor who I've seen in all these other like high school blockbuster films, and now he's in a leading role as Batman? So for me, it was like, okay, let me see what he could do with this role, because I definitely felt like, okay, Robert has a look. He has that beautiful model height that I'm sure other men envy. I mean, his height is perfect. The chiseled, jawline, the voice, the eyes. I mean, he's very good looking. To me, I think Robert is a very unique looking guy. So I think he's attractive in that way. So not that that has a lot to do with it. I don't want to make it seem like that, but if we're talking about the Batman is very athletic, tall, kicking butt. Like you have to be the part. You see what I'm saying? So when I first saw Robert as a Batman on the big screen, I was like, okay, like I had to chuckle because my mind was going to Edward Cullen. I can't lie. And then after that kind of like fizzled, like for a couple seconds, of course, like it fizzled out. I was admiring the outfit. I was looking at, his facial expressions. And I kid you not, I would say around the 20 to 25th mark, like once he, without giving spoilers, of course, once he revealed himself in the whole Batman outfit, not as the Bruce Wayne, not as that, as just the Batman outfit. As time went along, I couldn't tell the difference. I could not, and I don't know how else to say it. Like I could not tell the difference. It's like Robert, I'm not even exaggerating. It's like Robert became the Batman. Okay? And maybe I'm giving too much credit. I don't know, because to me, one of the highest honors that an actor or actress can get is they become the character. They are the character. It's like if you, okay, let's say for example, you know, I hope I'm saying his name right, Heath Ledger, right? When he played the Joker, the guy that passed away, rest in peace. He played the Joker in The Dark Knight, okay? He became the Joker. Like nobody, I don't care if it's Jared Leto, I don't care what other actor tries to like compare, tries to, give their own rendition of that character. I feel like Ledger, the guy who played the Joker in The Dark Knight, it's like he is a Joker, if that makes any sense. I've yet to see a performance since him from The Dark Knight, the Joker, not the Batman, the Joker now, that I could compare and say, oh yeah, like he's on this level. Oh yeah, like he is the Joker as well. Like besides the other legends before him, of course, and we give respect to those as well. But I'm saying like, since The Dark Knight came out, everybody, when they think of the Joker, we think of that guy. We think of that performance. And it's not just, oh, this actor played the Joker. No, that is a Joker. That is the living Joker. And that is like the highest honor. So I don't know if I'm ready to give Robert that honor, because to me, that's a high honor. Like, for an actor to say, you have become the Batman, like, I could not tell the difference between the movie and like real life. Like, I felt like I was watching a real life person's life story. Like, the whole film, the whole film felt like I was watching his life story. And I know that we all know in real life that's not his real life story, right? But when he played this character, that's what he had to do as an actor. He had to sell this role to us, the viewers, the consumers, the moviegoers. He had to convince us that, oh yeah, I'm the Batman. I got this leading role for a reason. And I think that's a tall order. And maybe because I've seen him in Twilight and I know his other work, maybe I think that, it's whatever, blase, blase. But like, to me, for someone to say this is the Batman, like he is the Batman, that's a high honor, y'all. That's a high, 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 high honor. And I got to be honest, I would say easily I was convinced, oh, this is a Batman. I was easily convinced. It felt like I was watching the real Batman. And at times I was like, why are we watching someone's real life? Like if you took away all people in the movie theater and turn on the lights a little bit lower, if it was just the screen and I couldn't see anybody else in the theater, like, I would feel like we're just watching someone's life. Like, and I've never felt like that in terms of this kind of film besides Joker and The Dark Knight. So that's high up there, okay? And I'm as I'm thinking through the film, I'm like, should I really give Robert that honor? But I gotta give it to him. I felt like it felt like real life. It felt like real life. So before I saw the film, I watched other people's reviews that have like, that are actual, like, constant movie goers, and they do professional reviews. And I would hear people say like, oh, we saw the Batman through his life journey, and I didn't understand that. Like, before I saw the film, I didn't get why they kept saying like, oh, we saw him in this and we felt his pain, and I didn't understand that. And then when I saw the film, I was like, oh, okay, so like, yeah, this definitely is giving me documentary vibes, is giving me YouTube vibes, is giving me a vibe of like, this person is showing me their life and I'm like along for the ride. That's literally like exactly how it is. So the rest of the cast, I think, did amazing as well. Yes, yes. I just can't get over the fact that Robert's the Batman. Like, something about that for me is like, whoa, like he's taken his career to new heights, because, I felt that he would deliver, and he definitely did. But what I will say is that at times when you hear his Batman voice, I was kind of like startled, because I'm like, oh my God, like, is this really happening? Like, this is so crazy. Like, to go from like Harry Potter and Twilight and all these other like romance films, then to go to this, it's like, whoa, like, you're really making moves, Robert, out here for real, yo. And I don't know, like, at times when I would hear his voice, I was just like, is that really him? Like, I would kind of laugh, because like, we're not used to seeing Robert like that. So let me touch on the aesthetic. Let me touch on visually. Okay, so without giving spoilers away, visually, it feels like real life. That's the best two words, if not a compound word, that I could say. Real life. It feels like real life. I don't know if there's any other Batman-esque film out here that would feel as real as this one, because this one makes you feel like you're in the city with him. You're going to work with him. Like, it's weird. Like, you feel like you're just right behind him, and he's showing you like his weapons and his like devices and computers. Like, I don't know, it just felt very real. So there must have been I think I would boil that aspect of it down to the producer and the director, because obviously the director and the producer's vision, maybe they discussed that. Maybe they wanted to give a more realistic approach, more than a comic book approach, or like a Marvel approach. Because like a lot of Marvel films come across as like very Disney for me. I like Marvel, I enjoy Marvel, but like sometimes it's very commercial, and like DC is not like that. We all know that, right? Like Marvel is more like family-esque and commercial and cutesy. It's still badass, but it has a very like family curve to it. Whereas if you watch a DC film, anything related on along those lines of like DC-esque, you think gory, you think bloody, you think, oh my god, dark. Like you just know that it's not going to be like some happy-go-lucky film. You see what I'm saying? So I think that this film had a good balance between being appeasing to people that just want to go to the movie theater and watch a random film, versus people who are really like invested in, okay, I love the Batman, I love the superhero, like they're fans of the Batman. You see what I'm saying? So it's a nice balance between people who are going for just to hang out and just to watch something, versus people who are like really like, major fans of Batman and want to see this huge, cinematic experience. So I think the directors and the producers did a really good job with balancing that. It wasn't too commercial, and it wasn't too gory. It was like the right balance. So I could appreciate that, even though I will say the Dark Knight was dark, right? The Dark Knight was in your face. Every 2 minutes somebody's dropping out. Like when I say drop out, like they're done. You know what I'm saying? Like with this film, it wasn't like that. It wasn't yeah, of course people were perishing. There was acts where the Riddler, which is like this movie's villain, the Riddler was getting rid of people, but it was nothing like The Dark Knight. It was nothing like any of these other films I've seen. So I think it was very cool. It had a nice feel to it. This, yeah, I also want to talk about the actual aesthetic. Yeah, so the Batman aesthetic with this film was emo. Very, very, oh my goodness. Okay, so I don't want to give any spoilers, but like I have to say this, like there was times where they would show Robert as a Batman, and he would have like this paint, like this black paint over his eyes, and sometimes depending upon like what he's doing, it would drip all the way down, and you would see like the marks, and it was very realistic. Like, I mean, very realistic. And I was like, wow, like they really made him, this is a look they gave him, like this is a look that they wanted to give. Like it was just totally different than what I was expecting. His hair was always in his face. There was a particular scene where he was in the rain and he went to go visit this person. Not gonna give two spoilers away, and his hair was all the way down across his eye, and it was just like grunge. It was a very grunge sort of energy, very emo grunge, early 2000s vibe is what I would say. It was definitely not like a vibe of like the Suicide Squad with Jared Leto and Margaret, Robbie and Will. It wasn't that kind of like bubblegum pop sort of look. It wasn't overdone. It was just right. So I could appreciate that. I did think that there was aspects of the Batman's costume, though, that I felt could have been a little bit better. Like, I think that whenever they would show the shot of his boots, it gave me military vibes. I mean, and that's not a bad thing, but like it gave me the vibe of like, I kind of wondering, okay, what kind of like movie are we in? Because you're not really sure at times. Like, I will say that. So like if it's just a sleek outfit and you really can't tell who it is, like when he's in the dark and then he pops out, I think that would have looked better for Robert in general. But they used a lot of lighting. They used a lot of lighting for this. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not as dark as the Dark Knight. It's not as scary looking as a Dark Knight. It's very light compared to that. It's like it's just the perfect amount. But I do think there could have been some aspects of it that were a little bit different, and I think would have made him look more believable is what I would say. Like if they gave him the slick boots that kind of blend into the suit versus boots that are completely over the suit, it doesn't look as corny or like typical, you know. But that could have been the look they were going for, because this Batman didn't look as rich. There was actually parts of his outfit throughout the movie that he would take out then put back in. And a lot of times his mask, the mask that he had, it looked worn out. Okay, maybe this is a little like, I don't know if this is like, useful to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I noticed it. I noticed it a lot. The makeup was different. I don't think that I don't think in The Dark Knight I saw that Batman wear eye makeup. I don't believe so, right? I don't think he ever had like black eyeshadow. No. But in this rendition of the Batman, in this particular sense, he had eye makeup. So that was very different. Like that was not what I was expecting, but it looked good for Robert. Is you see what I'm saying? So like I feel like they kind of remixed it for him. I feel like his influence shaped a lot of it. I could tell in the fashion, I could tell in how they wanted to capture his eyes. It was nothing like we've ever seen before. So yeah, I think that if they made the his suit more believable, I think it would have upped the ante. But there was a dynamic to it where it looked a little bit corny, like a little bit corny, because you don't want him to look like he's wearing military boots, and you don't want him to look like his outfit's falling apart. So I really couldn't tell if that was just trying to like, that was a part of the story. I wasn't sure if they're trying to tell us that he was going broke. Like I like like there was a point where I was watching him, and I saw that his mask was tattered. Like, when somebody keeps wearing the same thing and then it gets worn out and you start to see like little wrinkle marks in them, and like in the material, like the latex material. So it was like coming, like it was like falling apart. And I was like, so is this Batman going broke in this film? Like, does he not have money? Like, he has a lot of cars, but his outfit's all messy. So it was kind of like, maybe they could have, I don't know where they're going with that, is what I would say. Okay. But in general, the music, I think the music selection was okay. Okay. There was times where I felt like the music did not help. Like there was one particular scene. I mean, this is very detailed, so if you want to hear all the video, you can. But there was a particular part in the movie where it was like a very serious scene. I think it was violins. The violins were so high pitched and so screechy. I was like, oh my god, this is messing up the scene. And I don't want to like spend too much time on that point, but I do want to I'm just trying to tell you all, whatever I remember is what I'm going to tell you all, whatever sticks out to me. Because if I just tell you all the whole film, I'm giving spoilers. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. So I can go into details and tell you all the scenes and the characters, but that's not the point. So I have to kind of go around it. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is there was a particular scene where it was serious. It was like an interrogation. And for some strange reason, they wanted to put like a violin sample in the scene, and as Batman is talking to the guy who's obviously like the victim, this high pitched like screechy violin sound kept repeating, and I'm like, I can't hear the dialogue. It was annoying. And that sample was on for like, I don't want to say 20 minutes, but it was like on for at least a good 3, 4, 5 scenes. And a part of me was like, oh my God, like this is ruining the film. But it didn't take away from it, thank God. But like there was a point where I was like, okay, if I hear this music sample one more time in a really good scene, it's going to ruin it for me. It's going to ruin the hype because you see, see, this is what's so hard about it, because you don't want to compare it to The Dark Knight. You don't want to compare it to anything else, right? You want to give the movie a chance to grow on you. You want to give the movie a chance to be what it is, right? So what I'm saying is there was a lot of times where I could not stand the music. I was getting annoyed. I was like, I'd rather it be no music, like no music at all, and just hear the dialogue than them showing me different parts of the Riddler's apartment. Okay, not a spoiler, but like the Riddler's apartment, and they have this high screeching noise, and I can't, like, it's hard to concentrate on so many things. So the aesthetic was grunge. That's what I'll say with that. The aesthetic was grunge. The aesthetic was very much emo, but there was parts of it where I felt like they either did too much, and it was like overkill. It was like it's better if it's just sleek and simple, and the close-ups. There was one particular scene, no spoiler, but I don't care. I'm just gonna tell you all. There was one particular scene that I remember saying to myself, oh my God, this shot is beautiful. Thank God there was no music. As far as I know, there was like hardly any music at this particular point. It wasn't annoying music. And I like the music of Batman movies, but this movie, for some reason, I don't feel like there was it I don't think it worked. I'll be honest with you. So there was one particular scene where they zoomed into, actually there was a couple scenes like that, but they zoomed into Robert's face as a Batman, and it was beautiful. It was like this spinning, I don't even know what you call it. I mean, I've done film classes, I've studied film literature, but I don't know the ins and outs. I'm not a real director in real life, so I don't know all the fancy, film terms, but if somebody knows, I would love to know. It was like a close up where it spun, and it got his eyes and the jaw, and the mask was on. It was at night. It was a night scene in the film, and it was, oh my God, it was, I don't know what it was, but it was perfection. It was towards the end of the film. It was perfection. So there was a lot of moments in this film for me where I was like, wow, this feels so real. I feel like I'm watching someone's life. This is incredible. I don't want it to stop. And there was other points as I was watching the film where I was a little annoyed. I was a little like, this is a little tacky, they're not really it's not really making any sense. There was even parts of the film where I was like, this is not really making any sense. And there was certain pun lines, there were certain lines when it came to like the Riddler, like when they had Riddler scenes, like the villain scenes, there would be like little puns and jokes that I would pick up, like people like on my side of the theater would pick up. But let me tell you, majority of people did not pick it up. Like there'd be certain things that he would say that was supposed to be funny, and the theater was completely dead silent. I was laughing, other people were laughing, but not the majority. So I mean, I'm very quick. Like if somebody makes like a has like a riddle or like a joke, like a mystery, my brain is very quick. So like I'll be like, oh, that's what it means. But like most people, either they're not paying attention or their brain's not that quick, so they're kind of like dumbfounded. Like, what did he say? Like, they're kind of like they're kind of like dumbfounded, that they don't really get what the guys are talking about. Like the dialogue is confusing. So I would just definitely say, if you're going to watch it for the first time, just listen carefully. If you have somebody next to you who's disturbing you, if you're on your phone, you're not going to get the film. I think it's going to go right under you, because every scene kind of leads to the next scene. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a 3-hour film, so you kind of you have to be engaged. Like if you're the kind of person who falls asleep, or you rather talk to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your friends, and giggle and then watch the screen, it's that this kind of movie is not for that, because you're not gonna get it. You're gonna be like, it's redundant, it's silly, it's annoying. You're gonna start to think that it's not a good film. You know, you're not gonna be entertained is what I want to say. Maybe you're gonna rate it lower because you're not really paying attention. But like if you do pay attention, you know, and I'll talk about the genre a little bit. You know, it's a mystery. It's a mystery film. Can I just say that? It's not an action film. like like let's get that straight. It's not an action film only. This is a detective-esque, investigative-esque, mystery-esque film. It's very much like a mystery. Like a, what do you call that thing where they have like the dinner show and you know who killed this person, who shot this, like it's like a murder dinner and movie, like yeah, like it definitely can give that vibe. It doesn't feel like a an action movie. It feels like a mystery. So I don't, me personally, I don't, and I heard people say this before, but now I really get what they mean. It's not going to be for everybody. If you're expecting like The Dark Knight, if you're expecting some, you know, mind bending scene in the sky, you're not going to get that. Yes, there's some scenes where you're gonna see some pretty, I mean, some really, I mean, there was one, of course, people have seen the movie, you know, there was one scene, okay, I'll give it away. Spoiler alert, it was like a car scene. It was a car scene, like near like water, bridge, like that's all giveaway. And that scene was action packed, was thriller, was exciting. You know, that was like the most exciting part, was like one of the most exciting was that part. But like for the rest of the film, it did not give that vibe. I was not getting that vibe. I was getting more of the vibe of like a mystery, like a murder mystery. So if you're not really into mysteries and drama more than action and thriller, you may not like this film. Okay? Because The Dark Knight was like a thriller, suspense thriller, most definitely gory, violent, if you will. This film is not like that. This film is like a murder mystery, who shot John, catch me if you can kind of energy, like find me in the bushes, you know, one moment I'm here, the next I'm not, I disappear, poof. Like it's to some people it may be corny, you know, it may be kind of like stupid, you know what I'm saying? I gotta be honest. To others it may be like, okay, okay, this is the Riddler, the villain is a Riddler and he likes riddles. So like so so comparing the Joker to the Riddler, no comparison, okay? It's not even close. It's not even close. Like the Riddler is a baby compared to the Joker. There's nothing going on, like to be honest with you. Like almost every scene, spoiler alert, almost every scene there is a card. Okay, I'm not gonna give too much away, but there's cards. I'll just leave it at that. There's cards, and the cards are riddles. So, like I said, to other people, it may be redundant. I could see how it's a little redundant, a little boring, if you will, typical. Like it's whatever. The Dark Knight is not like that. The Dark Knight is, you have no idea what's going to happen next. You know someone's going to die, but you have no idea how. You have, you know, when a piece of information is dropped, you're like, whoa, like I did not see that coming. No. With this film, I will say humbly, with this film, when the Batman is in trouble, you know what's gonna happen next. Like you already know. If you're thinking like that, you say, okay, he opened this card. Okay, this person went in this car. The camera is looking at the Catwoman, right? His Batman's little girlfriend. You know, well, in a way, but not really. And he has a love interest in the Catwoman per se, whatever that it was, and you know, they switch the scene to the other villain. There's a couple of villains in this film as well. So it's kind of like that, like you really don't, you're not surprised. Like when something happens, you're like, oh, okay, like I expected that, right? But in the Dark Knight, if I have to, not to compare, but if I had to kind of give it like a summary, it's in a way where with the Dark Knight, you have no idea. Like you, most of the time, you don't see it coming, and you're like, whoa, that's that man is ferocious. Like what he just did to that guy is crazy. But in this film, when there's trouble, you kind of expect it. So that part of it was kind of like more soft. It's totally different. It's more soft. It's more expected. You're not really shocked when things happen. Like for me, most of the scenes, and I haven't watched it before, it's my first time. Most of the scenes that we saw that had high intensity, a lot of people fighting and all that, like, whether it's in the city or privately, it gave me the vibe of, okay, I'm expecting that. Like, I'm expecting that to happen. So I wasn't shocked. Like, there was not really any scene where I was shocked. So for me, it was kind of like, okay, I'm enjoying the look of the actors and actresses. I'm enjoying the aesthetic. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I'm not really necessarily enjoying the plot per se. I'm just enjoying the view, the view of the city, the sound effects. Like it's more of like aesthetic. So it's totally different. It's totally different. So if I had to rate this film 1 out of 10 without giving you all spoilers, because I think I said a lot. It's already going on 36 minutes. If I had to rate this movie 1 out of 10, I would give it a 7.5. Almost 8 out of 10. I would give it a 7.5. Yeah, because I think that there's definitely things I think they could have done differently, and it would have made a huge difference. Like little things in his costume, the music choice, the writing could have been a little bit more suspenseful, was kind of flat, a little bit soft, a little bit expected, so it wasn't that exciting. So I would say 7.5. If I had to give a rating out of 5, I would give it a 4.5. So out of 5 stars, I would give 4.5. Out of 10 stars, I would give a 7.5. So that's pretty good if you ask me. So would I see it again? Sure. Would I be queuing up to see it? Probably not. To have a film be a film that I see on repeat, it has to like be like 10 out of 10. This film for me was not that. If I saw it again, it'd be fine. But to spend another 3 hours, probably not. Now, so I mean, it's good by itself. You see what I'm saying? Seeing it once is enough. You don't need to see it like 4 or 5 times. You know what I'm saying? Like not to me, not in my opinion. If I did do spoilers, there was definitely a couple scenes I think were visually beautiful. That's the big thing I think that was a plus for this film is there's a lot of scenes that were just visually beautiful, but that's it. It's not the writing, it's not the action, it's not the fighting, it's pretty. It looks good. It looks good. And I think that the cast, I mean for the way the film is, like it's a mystery film, it's more like a mystery film. I think that Robert fits him perfectly because like I said, he looks like a model. When he switches out of the Batman suit and he's just like his regular self at work, going to funerals, going here, going there, going to the police, like, being in the city, working in the city, he looks like you would think he would look. As a Batman, him playing the Batman and him being a regular person outside of the Batman costume, he looks the part. He looks the part, especially when his hair is jet black and it's straight and it's like around his ear or across his. It's very grunge. It's very model-esque. Like to the visual, it's very nice. You know, the camera effects were evident, like for sure. I mean, there was definitely a repeated trend I saw in the film with this blurry look, like where they would pan out and it would blur in slow motion. That was a common camera or edit fixture that I saw feature in the film, where they would zoom out and slow down the motion of the people. So they kind of look blurry, like kind of like ghost like. That was a cool feature. So there was a lot of things about it that I think moving forward with film in general, people can, like I said, yeah, they can study it, they can look at, they can admire, they can say, wow, that's a cool new way to zoom in somebody's face, to pan out. Like they definitely had that on lock. But in terms of the plot, it's not really giving much. Like just it's cute. It's nice, but it's not giving that high intensity. It's not giving that on the edge of your seat. No. Not for me. The Dark Knight was definitely edge of the seat, tantalizing, tingling, sensational. That's not this. This film is a nice film to relax with. I'll say that. Like this is a nice film to relax with. Have snacks, have some wine. Um, a nice, like I saw this movie tonight on Thursday. So like that kind of vibe. Like it's a vibe of like hanging out. Whereas the Dark Knight is a vibe where it's like your laser beam focus, at any moment, the hospital is blown up. It's totally different. Whereas with this film, when anybody's in trouble, you don't get that vibe. You don't get the vibe of, oh my God, panic. Like you don't really get that. So I don't know. It would be interesting to see how people like the difference between the Batman movies and the different productions and all that. I think it's a great addition. I will definitely say that. I think that this Batman movie is fabulous addition, especially visually. It's a great addition. It's a nice movie to relax to. Like let's say for example, they put this movie on Disney Plus or Netflix or Hulu or any streaming service, I would watch it. Like if they said, okay, we're gonna put this Batman, Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kraft, all that, we're gonna put the whole film, the full length 3 hour film on Disney or Hulu or whatever, I would watch it for sure. For sure. You don't have to pay attention. It's just kind of like in the background, you know? But like if you say, okay, we're gonna go on any streaming service and watch The Dark Knight, you gotta be in an energy, a certain vibe to watch that kind of film. You gotta be like prepared to see some ish go down, you know? You gotta be prepared to see violence. Like it's totally different vibe. This movie you could put on in the background and clean your house. This kind of film you could put on in the background and do laundry. And if that's like insulting, I don't think it is. It's just it's a film where you can relax to. Like I like in the theater, I was very relaxed. So for those people who haven't seen it yet, that should give you a clue. If you are expecting to see a Batman film and not be relaxed, well, there you go. Because most people, when they see a Batman film, they're expecting to not be relaxed. They're expecting to be, like I said, high intensity. This film is very chill. It's very like fluid. It's very like, you know, through the city, you see him walking, like it's very like chill. And I mean, and I like that though. I think for a Batman film, I like that other perspective. So I'm happy this film was made. I'm happy that Robert especially got his chance to shine as a Batman. I think that this will be one of his best roles for sure. And hopefully in the future, he'll do more stuff like this because he has the look, he has the height, he has the very sexy voice. I mean, the voice was like, ooh, when I hear the voice, I was like, oh my God, like he sounds really attractive. So that was a plus, like especially for us ladies, like that was definitely a plus. He did sound very, very attractive. He had, a nice energy to him, a nice swag to him. So I appreciated that. But I think that the Batman in its essence is not just about the voice or the look. You're expecting to see some fight scenes. You're expecting to see some, you know, out of this world, fighting for your life scenes. And with this film, I didn't get that. I didn't get that vibe of, oh my God, he's gonna die at any moment. Like I did not get that at all. Even towards the end, when you think that maybe he's out, like, this is, he's lost the battle. No, like you just know that, okay, he's gonna come back. And I prefer to see, if I have to see like an action-esque film, I prefer to see films like that where you believe that, okay, yeah, like the person is gonna pass. Like, oh my God, it's been such a hard fight that at any moment now, if he falls off or whatever, he's gone. He's a goner. In this film, I didn't get that. Every single time he was in trouble, I expected him to come back. So overall, 7.5 out of 10 is my score for sure. Out of 5, it's a 4.5, which is like almost 5, really. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful film. It's a nice, relaxing film, especially if you're at home, just lounging around, sweats, wine. Perfect, 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 perfect. It was great. Some things were very redundant about it, but I think that in general, it was a nice film. So thank you all for watching. This is my reaction. Same night same night that I saw the film, got home, charged my phone, and here is the full reaction. So that's my honest reaction to the film. I hope you all enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe and thumbs up. Okay, if you see the film, enjoy the film for yourself. Do your own, think of your, everything I say. When you go in the film, wipe clean. Anything anybody says, wipe clean and make your own opinion, right? What I'm telling you is from my perspective. So when you go see the film for yourself, just don't think about nothing that we say on the internet and just enjoy it, okay?